Welcome.
Hello.
We are here on a very, very special occasion, a special edition of Conversating, Conversing, and Relating. Yeah, I'm glad we said that collectively at this time because we don't ever say it collectively. I am your host, Coach Hughes.
Hi, I'm April Autumn.
And today we're continuing our series with special guests.
Yeah.
Yes. Yesterday, Friday, on our other podcast, Smoke, Drink, and Vibe, we had a special guest who's here again today. And he brought somebody special with him. Let's introduce the Hugheses, everybody. Give them a hand.
Thank you.
How was y'all week?
So it was good. It was good. It was busy. It's this time of year where it's busy.
Right.
And we got some other projects going on. We're trying to wrap up like most people. But forget the week, man. Do you realize we're less than 6 months away from the end of the year of 2024?
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
That's
There's
right there.
a lot to take in.
Yeah.
6 months away from 2024.
So
yeah.
I had to come. You know, I called in to the
You have
cast before, and I've typed in.
Right.
And then you were gracious enough to allow me to travel to come be on the show.
Right.
And I can't, travel out my better half, to help keep me in line sometimes. And so I brought her with me, and then you've been kind enough to allow us to share the mic literally.
Yeah.
With the two of y'all. One mic. Who know that? Who know that out there? Like and comment. Who know that song, One Mic? Who know it? If you know it, you had a charming life. Yeah,
that's good. And, well, how was your week?
The week has been actually interesting, challenging, but made it through. As my husband has stated, we are working on several different projects. One of the real bigger projects is my finishing my master's in social work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Degrees everywhere.
Yes.
As well as me accepting a new job position.
More money.
Yeah, so it's been challenging. So this weekend has been a great getaway to, relax and rest, to celebrate, those things, and then take a break or rest away from others. So got a chance to kind of recoup.
So I think we need some names because we said the Hugheses. I mean, we are the Hughes. We
collectively,
we are the
Team Hughes.
Team Hughes.
Team Hughes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Team Hughes.
However, we are the Houston version.
Yeah.
The version.
The Belmont version.
No. The North and the South.
There we go.
Yeah.
The North and the South. But on the South side.
Anyway, so I would like for you to introduce yourself to the viewers and let them know a little bit about you, and then they're gonna really get to know a little bit about y'all later on.
Facts.
Well, I am Renata Shedd Hughes, and I am the sister-in-law to both April and Jamon Hughes.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Facts. That is beautiful. I am Chief Hughes. I am the husband to Renata Hughes and the brother to Coach Hughes over there, and the brother-in-law to the wonderful lady in the yellow to my left. And I have a silky after 10, voice. They told me I got to talk up louder, and I'm not really used to doing that. I'm not. I'm a well-traveled, well-learned gentleman, but I don't have all the skins on the wall that the people at this esteemed table have. I don't have all the skins on the wall, but I'm well-traveled and well-tanned, as you can see by the lack of watch here. So don't get to it. So I'm able to talk with them, but I don't have all the good skins on the wall.
Yeah.
But I'm working on being a kept husband once you get off. You know what? What's the dude? Stedman. I'm trying to get Stedmanized.
Stedman.
Yeah, Stedman status.
That's a real. That is a real.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
We haven't heard from Stedman since.
No need to.
Yeah.
No need to. Work for what? He put on his W-2.
Oprah.
There it is.
I think the best thing to do is just to continue to be you, and you'll be kept.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey, I'm sure
Continue
he's
to be
fine
you,
in
you'll be
his
kept.
fitness.
give it
What
direction.
did Uncle say, Jamon? It's
That's
all right to
Wayne
be
Tote Jr.
pecked as long as you're pecked by the right hand.
Oh,
All I need is one mic.
Yeah, but who said it though? Who said it? Who sang the song? I know you know it's out there.
Come on, give me the artist.
It's out
Give me the
there.
artist.
It's out there.
Give me the artist.
It's out there.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for coming onto the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Thanks for having us.
Second guest. Yesterday we had Chief Hughes on, and we had a good time with that.
that was great.
Now we got the lovely Miss Hughes in, and we're going to have some interesting conversations. Very interesting conversations. So, what do y'all think this conversation is going to bring about just off the gate? Because we talked a little bit about this beforehand.
I forecast more likes and subscribes to this channel. That's what I forecast off this right here. Because I'm telling you, the vibe. Well, Friday's vibe was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we've added the ladies. We've classed up the joint.
Yeah.
We've classed
It's a little bit rough around the edges.
It was real mentally on Friday.
But
But now we've classed up the joint. We've added the ladies.
Yeah.
We've added the ladies.
Yeah.
We've classed up the
it
joint.
was very, very
So
good.
that's what I forecast, Jamon.
Very good.
Renata?
I forecast, or at least I hope that, people will be okay with having open and honest, transparent conversations with other people in different relationships of any type of form or, what have you. So that's my hope.
Okay. All right. We got an answer. Nas.
Yeah. You have lived a charmed life.
That's it.
You have lived a charmed life. You know
That's
it.
it.
You know it.
There it is. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
How was your week? We're not going to skip over you.
Oh,
Yeah.
my week was busy, but it was good. Really proud of you and Chief Hughes. Like the banter, the show was really great on Friday.
Yeah.
See you and your brother like really have open dialogue and give homage to your father who kind of did some of this work as well.
Yeah.
And so that was really great. So I am very excited about this. Very excited.
See how
Because what people don't know
classy it is?
how we all talk just around the kitchen.
Yeah.
Just about whatever. Like
Yeah.
when we go on road trips or when we're vacationing together.
Road trips.
Out in the middle of nowhere on a boat together.
Yeah.
On the boat.
On a boat.
Yeah.
On the boat.
Song, right?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the boat.
All those songs.
A lot of
But
songs.
one of the things that Renata said that really made me like think and then be thankful for them as a couple, but as family as well, is they know the real us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get to the table and
We've been presenting corporate versions of ourselves. We're sorry, but not sorry.
So they sorry but not sorry. But let me let you know, Chief Hughes ain't like speakerphone friendly when I call. I ain't speakerphone friendly in person either. But I'm good to be around though. I'm good to be. No alcohol required.
Yeah. No, I'm not required. Good conversation.
That's true.
Yeah.
No alcohol
Yeah.
required.
So it's really good to have a couple friend, and in this case, a couple family that really holds you accountable and like, what you doing is, that ain't it.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate it.
Or celebrate you.
Or celebrate.
Because what y'all are doing here is hot.
Yeah.
And history making, by the way. This is a history making show.
Yeah.
Four Hugheses right here on the program together. First time on this program in this format. So
Yes.
history making. And I had to come on Friday because first of all, I've been invited, so I came. and
Yeah.
second, I had to stay over because you invited me to stay over, and then I had to get the missus in on it because she's TV friendly.
She is TV friendly. Look at this face.
The nerves are definitely there. Do not let it fool you. Don't let their conversation.
With Renata, you always know, like when we're talking, for those who don't know, Renata officiated our wedding.
She did.
And I told her, I was like, if nothing else went right, we knew that Renata was gonna have it all together
Yeah.
and be on time, do all the things that she needed to do. We might not be on time.
A woman with many
Be in
talents.
place, but she was gonna have all of her stuff together. So you always have so don't
Yeah.
worry.
A woman of many talents.
That's, you know, all grace to God for that. That's
Yeah,
not- that's me.
she was surprised when we asked her to officiate,
I was.
but then she was like, I don't want to officiate.
Yeah.
Because I got to go to school, I got to go to class.
And then, of course, the expectation, right? You know,
Yeah.
anytime we take on a new position, a new title, especially the titles in the church, man, they just bring on so much pressure that, you know, I just did not want that kind of pressure. So do not message and ask me to officiate with her. I'm not doing it.
Hold on. Send the fee first. Send the fee proposal. Finish your budget and hit me off, man, because I can talk to her the budget right.
Yeah, she's still official in Texas. So she's ready.
If your budget's right, we can probably get it there. Man.
Nice with it. I mean,
Yeah.
It was nice. It was
I
nice.
noticed at the end, she was like, finally, these Negroes is mine.
So y'all mentioned wedding though, right?
Yeah.
But why do people get married
oh wow.
these
Yeah.
days?
I don't know.
You know, because we're conversating and relating, right?
Yeah. We're conversating and relating.
You know,
That
and
is
I
the
got
question.
I brought questions. You know, Friday I did the fellas thing,
Yeah.
but I got the even more deep version for the night.
Yeah.
I got the even more deep version for the night.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're definitely going to jump into these questions and jump into these topics. Thank everybody for tuning in.
Yes.
Like and subscribe.
Definitely like, share, and subscribe. Hit
Oh, the share
notification
button.
button
Okay.
so you can get instant updates when we go live. Definitely check us out at the obsidianluxgroup.com so you can get free stuff, free booklets, and sign up for mental health services that we have offered. This is going to be interesting. We need definitely crowd participation on this one because we're talking about relationships and couples and all that comes in that mixed foray of things. Because everybody knows relationships is work, right?
Mhm.
Relationships is work. Being with that person, whether it's in a,
I don't think everyone knows that.
Knows
think
what-
everybody knows what-
That relationships are work.
Do you guys think relationships is work?
Well, wait a minute now. What depends? So, like, if you're doing the thing that you enjoy, is it really work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be clear. We don't enjoy every part of relationships no more than you enjoy every part of your job.
Right.
You might have a passion to do something, or you might be gifted in talent to do something on your job that makes it exciting or fun for you, but you don't like every aspect of it. So
I mean, if you have a job, you probably don't. But if you have a career and a calling on your heart, usually most times of that particular nature, that thing you can't wait to get up and do.
I mean, that's true, but it still takes work to figure that out. And sometimes you don't figure that out till later in life. And then there's an expectation prior to that you have to have it all figured out. So when you ask the question of whether or not, relationship takes work, do we know that? Do we understand it? I don't think we look at it as work. I think we look at it as conflict. I think we look at it as, pain. I think we look at it sometimes as trauma
Or
or struggle. Yeah, that's the biggest one. Struggle. The struggle is real, right? What is it that people that it's complicated?
Oh yeah.
Or entanglements. What was
Yeah.
it?
Was it a red table or something?
If somebody asks you about your relationship and you bust out an old Negro hymns, I don't know if that's the relationship.
And if it's so all of what you have said, then why do so many people desire?
I don't know.
Safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Security.
Is there safety and security in
I mean, and
relationships?
some people don't like being by themselves.
Some people don't want. Some people think they want it, but they really don't. We're going to jump into that. Nikki Taylor says, "If you're lead, you'll do it. If you're led, you'll do it, Renata." Okay.
If she's paid, she'll do it
Okay.
faster.
If she is paid, she will do it. At least consider it faster.
Much faster.
Much faster. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's not true. You are right, Nikki. If I'm led, I will.
Did Jesus call me?
you wrong for that.
Jesus on the main line. Damn, what you want?
All right, so we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna put this first topic up.
Good first topic.
And we want you guys to comment in the section. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, because these topics and conversations we need to have amongst couples and couples who want, or people who want to be coupled and people who want to think about being coupled. So here we go. First topic.
And people can call, remember, 346-800-4639.
All right.
Look at that.
Is love enough to sustain or be in a relationship? Do people get in relationships for love these days or benefits? I think benefits. And then we call sex with benefits or something like that.
Friends with benefits.
Yes. Friends with benefits. That sex is a benefit.
Sex with
Sex with benefits.
Sex with benefits.
Sex with benefits.
Sounds like the old folks, like they bringing a food stamp to a, I don't know, they ate
Look, I got these glasses to you, so you can see.
You give me some of that cooter, I bet you get your ass checked.
Oh my God.
So if we answering the question, we'd like to know, of course, what you all think. Is love enough to sustain or be in a relationship? And my answer to that is I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks that love is not enough.
Yeah.
But then I go back, to, biblically where, it says that love covers a multitude, of faults. So I think you have to have some things that go along with love in order to sustain it. I can love you and you not pay no bills, and that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
I can love you and not respect you. And when a woman doesn't respect a man, or even vice versa, I just don't think that relationship will last.
Yeah.
And so there's things I think that have to go along with love in order for it to sustain. I can love you and still leave you.
I was about to say, I love you.
Yeah.
You be way over
I
there.
can love
We
you and
have to
still
be
leave you.
together.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have to be together. I can still love you.
I love you. No, stay over there. It's okay.
Don't they got that song, love you on the other side of the world or something like that?
Or love you at a distance.
Yeah.
I can love you and still, I can love you and be cordial with you, right? But to sustain it, I think there has to be more. I think there has to be some principles, maybe even some agreements on some rules on how we handle certain things in a relationship.
Yeah.
Whether that's, an argument, whatever it may be. I think that there has to be some other things that go along with love to actually sustain it. Is love enough to be in a relationship? No, sometimes it's not.
So I'm a pivot that to the left there and go back to what I said on the other night before I got off that show. If you hadn't seen it, go back and see that show. It depends on who you love first. In that show, I said the menage a trois is to love Christ first.
Yeah.
And then love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will teach you to love your mate.
Mm-hmm.
And then she needs to love Christ first and then herself. And then he will teach her to love him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the love that needs to occur first, in my opinion, first and foremost. And that's what I try to practice now that I'm more learned.
Yeah.
But
when
college word there.
when
College word. Learned it.
When you have that in place, let's say you have that in place,
Mhm.
is it still enough to sustain a relationship?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so, because if you're loving your God first and then you're learning to love yourself second, you're humble enough to love someone else third. And if they do likewise, there's a menage a trois that keeps feeding each other. Now, the love takes many multitude of values to me. It's love in thought, love in action, and duty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just love in the words, or I wrote it on the paper and the napkin, check here if you,
Yeah.
not that one, right? And paying the bills or not paying the bills, or consoling one another, or come to see me at the hospital, or doing the things that you don't prefer to do, but you're doing for that one person.
Right.
So the question, I think, again, love is enough to sustain a relationship or to be in a relationship if it is properly applied.
Let's talk about what sustain means.
Okay.
What does sustain mean?
That's a college word.
That is a college word.
to keep it going, to last,
What's the
to
street version
endure.
of sustain?
That's what comes to mind.
What's the street word for sustain, Jamal?
Street word for sustain?
Yeah.
Shit stain, because they can't pronounce it. Can you shit stain in a relationship?
Okay.
Somebody, someone. Hold on. What they saying online? What they saying online?
The voice tuned in. She said, "Love is not enough because self-love is the epitome of what it takes to be in a relationship. You can only love a person as deeply as you love yourself."
Correct.
That is correct.
So I disagree. I think a person can make someone an idolized love more so than themselves, than a selfless act. This is why I say this key for us to discover a proper type of love, right?
Right.
Because the unhealthy love could be an obsession, right?
That is very,
Yeah.
But is that love though?
yeah.
Is that
Well, there is love, right?
right? Is that love or is that what's the other word? A lust
Yeah.
or or infatuation.
Both of them start with L.
Infatuation is the word I was looking for. So is that
Lust.
love or is that lust or infatuation with something? Because to me, in that case, there's something in particular that you're loving about that person that cannot sustain them or you,
No.
Yeah.
right?
Most of the time, they are not thinking about you.
They're thinking about themselves and what you actually do for them.
And
Right.
they loving themselves and loving them having some of you.
Yeah. Miss Deanna says, "Love is not enough. You would think so, but it's not."
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so what else would it be then?
What else would it be, Miss
What,
Deanna?
what else do we need to add in there on top of the love?
Yeah. I think love itself is not enough to sustain a relationship. Even if you have it in the order that Chief Hughes was talking about, I think eventually, to me, it depends on if it's battle tested or not. However, some people stay in love and they use love as the anchor or an excuse as to still continue on in relationships that could be not healthy to their mental, emotional, or spiritual side of who they are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about this. Oh, we put the time in. We've been together for so long. And I'm like, what does that have to do with this relationship? Like the time you could be spending all this time with someone and you can't stand them, but you loved them at one time.
Yeah.
At one time.
Didn't Kevin Hart say that new love, that puppy love,
Yeah.
is messed up, but people with time in, juice could be a problem?
Yeah. Yeah. Sipping my juice. Like she was sipping my juice.
I told her you want some juice. She said, nah. Now she want to come out and sip my juice and sip them all the
You
juice.
something else. You were something else.
Something else.
Yeah.
What else we got on there? Who else come in there?
Love is not enough. Mick said, yeah, we need more of that. What you mean?
He liked the taste of it in his mouth.
You can love someone who is abusive, but staying with them is dangerous.
Well,
Now that's fact.
That's facts.
I've had to see many abusive relationships over
That's
love.
good.
Yeah. It's not dangerous if you can vibe a weed. I'm just saying, if you can.
Some people say she can take a few scrapes. I mean, he's got a car, he drives her to work.
If you can give him that 1-2 biscuit with an upsized drink, it ain't that dangerous.
seriously.
Then the girl, what's the not Jessica Alba, the one that had the Enough movie.
Oh, that was
Yeah, she learned to fight.
Yeah.
And then the love was okay.
Yeah. Kat says it's important to know who you are and love who you are in order to love who you become in that relationship. You need love, patience, and growth, and a growth mindset so you'll evolve together. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the important part. I think that we have to realize before we even get in a relationship that sometimes we don't. Sometimes you can learn that while you're in a relationship, but it takes the willingness of yourself. You have to be willing and take the time for you to give yourself a chance. Now, while I think it's more challenging when you're in a relationship with someone and it don't always happen prior to, I do agree with my sister Katura that it is important that you have that. You can only love, I believe that you can only love someone in a healthy way as best as you love you. But when you don't love you, you don't know you, that tends to be a problem and an issue for you.
A question just popped in my mind based off what you guys are talking about. And I want to pose this question to the audience as well as the panel. can you love too early or too late
In life.
in the relationship? If you're in a relationship, can you love a person too early or too late?
Can you say more about that?
Like, when some people get in a relationship 3 days later, like, I love him. Oh my goodness, I love him. I love her. I'm doing everything for him.
Do you really think that's love though?
For some people, it is. They define it how they define it if they feel like they want to say it. It may not be love because normal people say it can't happen in 3 days. Normal people, right? 4 or 5 days a week. You don't know if you love this person. However, the question also poses is, can you love a person too late in the game? If you got together for different reasons and you didn't love them, that old saying, well, you'll learn to love them later on in life. Mm-hmm. Is it possible that you can love somebody later on in the game? Is it too late to love that person and you guys are 2 years into the relationship? Or is it too early to love that person if you guys are 3 days into the relationship?
I mean, Granddaddy said you don't love a person till you live with them.
Right.
Know what it's like.
Or
And he lived with, our mother because he was his, her father.
Yeah.
He told my dad that's flat-footed. You think you love her. I done lived with her all her life. Yeah. And I love her, but I know her. Yeah. You don't know her because you ain't never lived with her. You still trying to learn her. And guess what? She ain't who she is today, 12, 3, 4, 8 months down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the love you had at 12, remember that puppy love, young love? You want to go with me? Check here, yes or no?
Yeah.
The four square is not the same love we getting when we at the club sending Cavassier down.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Or when you at the old folks' home.
Someone said, love should have brought you home last night.
I'm just saying. Okay. Look, he came home. It was 3 a.m., but he came home.
Who sang that song? Since you quote songs, who sang that song?
I know who it is.
Imposters mimic the love that they crave.
That's good.
So projection.
That's good, Nikki.
Projection.
Yeah.
That's good.
Projection,
That's
okay.
Yeah. I mean, so if you think about it, right, love is an action.
Yes.
Right? Do you agree? Love is an action. And so love is an action. You typically, and I agree with Nikki, that you mimic what you see in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know it, you tend to mimic it, right?
Right.
Growing up in a household, you tend to mimic the relationship that you see. You pick what you want, what you like, what you don't like. And then some stuff just automatically comes. Right. Some stuff you're going to just automatically do because you saw it repetitiously. Right. So when you get in a relationship, sometimes I think that stuff automatically just happens and we mimic it and we learn it. If we go back to the response where you said, I lost my train of thought. I'll think of it later. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's okay. Comments. Somebody said trauma bonding.
Yep.
Trauma bonding. Right. You know what? Remember that show Fear Factor?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Joe Rogan.
Some folks got married off of it.
Oh,
that is true. That is true. That is true. Kat says, yes, we can call it love, but it's the heightened emotions of how deeply a person allows you to feel. Mm-hmm. Statics. I know, I just want to say it wrong. Really? Say that it only takes 6 months to know a person for you if a person is for you. Hell, even on a job, it's 90-day waiting period. Yeah, it is.
I mean, but some people waiting at 12 years, the kids about to graduate, and they go, you know what, I'm going to go home, make an honest woman out of now that the kids getting out of
Yeah, I thought about what I was going to say. So you asked the question of, can you love too soon or too late? And right. You made a comment about somebody says that it'll take time to love them. Is that what you'll learn to love them?
Yeah, you'll learn to love them.
My aunt told me that one time. My aunt said it to us one time, and I agree with that to a certain extent, right? And because when you have a baby, you have to learn to love the baby through the times that things might happen, right? And here's what I mean. So somebody may say, "Oh, well, you automatically the mother automatically loves her baby when they come here." That's not always the case because it might also depend on how the baby has come into this world, right? Or what she had to go through to have that baby, right? So she has to learn different things through sickness with the baby, through good times. If she don't have any money, financial sense, she learns. So I think the same thing with a relationship. Sometimes sometimes in a relationship, I think people can get together by choice if they are willing to, even if they don't love each other, and they can learn to. And here's the other thing. I was told that you're supposed to see a person in all seasons.
Oh, yeah.
You should get a chance
Yeah.
to see a person in all
Yeah.
seasons, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes while I love you because everything has been good,
Yeah.
and I've seen a few down spots,
Right.
do my love remain the same when you lost parents, when you go through grief,
Right.
when you lose a sibling, when you lose a job, when you go broke?
Yeah.
You know, or what if something happens and they become disabled? Do you still love them? Because that ain't what you signed up for, some say.
Yeah.
And I know we go back to the vows where we say, well, through sickness, through health, everybody ain't doing them vows. Everybody ain't saying them vows. So again,
She would know if she married for.
I think you have to look at it from, you know, that standpoint of that, you know, there are going to be some things that you go through in a relationship that you may or may not sign up for that might help you to love them or learn to love them.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it might drive you further apart.
Apart, one of the two.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Ms. Deanna says, biblically, love is an umbrella. Most don't have the things under the umbrella of love to sustain it. Patience, kindness,
Yeah, not
not
envious.
envious or boastful.
Come through, Deanna. Come
That's
through.
a lot right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Deanna.
Oh,
That's good.
like, and I would like to amplify that
Yeah.
patience with themselves,
Yeah,
kindness of themselves.
yeah.
All of that stuff, like you said, has
Yeah.
to start with
It has
you.
to start with
So
you.
if you
Yeah.
don't have all of that within you, you
Yeah.
can't extend an
Yeah.
umbrella
Yeah, yeah.
with anybody else.
Yeah. And then of course we go into what, you know, and again, it depends on what your definition of love is. Deanna says biblical love is an umbrella, right?
Right.
So that's if that person is going by scripture in the Bible, if
Right.
they're a Christian or if they believe in God's word that says love is patient, it's kind, it does not boast, it does not envy, right? And so while we as Christians should definitely practice that, that takes a lifetime to do. Nobody ever gets it to that point. But then you have some people who are not Christians or don't believe in the word that have their own example of what love is.
Exactly.
Right.
So are we talking about it? Are they sharing that? Are they saying that to each other?
Probably not.
90 days.
That
What?
day fiance says you can fall in love in 5
Let's
days.
see, 35.
Okay.
Well,
Now, I don't know if that's possible.
I mean, it's possible.
Real love bears all things.
Yeah.
Okay, Sylvia.
The love there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil.
Get one of those. Hey, appreciate it.
All right. So
What's the next one?
we've talked about love and sustaining. We've talked about is it enough to be in a relationship. The next one we're going to talk about is kind of controversial, I think.
Well, let's go.
Let's see if it's controversial. I mean, you kind of.
Is conversations about sex important?
I mean, men like talking about sex.
Y'all like talking about sex?
Yeah,
They do or they don't.
we do.
Okay.
We do like talking about sex.
Yeah, we like talking.
Society
about it,
likes talking about sex.
but I real men. I don't
A
think a lot of them-
conversation about sex is different.
Yeah.
You like talking about sex,
Talking about
sex,
okay.
but not necessarily having a
No,
conversation.
no. Conversation is sharing of ideas. Talking about sex is something static, right?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know baseball, but I like the baseball team, Texas Rangers, but I don't know who plays on it. I barely know the manager, Chris Bochy. I don't know who the owners are. I don't know what the stat of the pitchers are, the backup. I don't even know what their score is this year, but I support the Texas Rangers. So I can talk about liking them, but to conversate about it, to have some knowledge
Yeah.
to share,
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
I ain't got that. They ain't there. And so I talk about sex all the time. I can tell you who the actors are in a couple porn movies all day long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what their stats are.
What up?
Jimmy Lucy Wilson,
Yeah.
he's 6'2", 12 inches long, you know.
Got a dick average of 1 out of every 5 women.
Yeah, you know, 13 women are pleased by him. The 14th one can't walk.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think.
So conversating and talking are two different things.
Yeah.
And I think women are good with conversating.
About sex?
Yes, and I think men just like to talk about it.
I think women are good at conversating about sex, and men fake about conversating about sex. That's what I think.
It's funny. Me and I are like,
Yeah, so what do y'all think then,
Yeah.
ladies?
I don't know. You got a couple of
Y'all-
Y'all think so?
somebody.
Oh yeah, let them come on in.
If you talk about finances, child rearing, life goals, etc., you need to have conversations about sex. It's necessary. Human function falls under basic needs.
The show ain't sexy though.
Does it
Talking about
now?
childbearing and finances.
It does fall under basic needs. She's been watching about. Thank you. That's hierarchy of needs. It's in physiological needs.
It is.
It
It's important to know your partner's expectations. When the expectations are met, a divide will happen.
Ooh.
Yes, Phil.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Bob. Bob will show up.
Oh, it's Jody. It's Jody comes through.
All right, talk that talk. That's just saying. I like that. This is Stephanie, by the way.
Hey, Stephanie.
So here's my thought on this particular. Is conversations about sex important? I think it is important, just like somebody mentioned, Stephanie mentioned that, talking about other things is important, right? But sex is one of those things that a lot of us did not talk about in our homes. I didn't have that conversation with my children until they were already, experiencing things that, I later learned about just from having a conversation with them, because it was one of those things where it was, we were taught in the church, you don't have sex before you get married. Right. And so being taught that in the church that you don't, for biblical and Christian reasons, it didn't seem to me like there was room to have the conversation in the event you decide to. Right. And so while I learned later in life that was extremely important to have that conversation, it was no option. Yeah. Did I have sex before marriage? Yes, I did. But I did not have conversations about the importance of it because I didn't know me. So I couldn't tell you what I liked and what I didn't like in order for me to have a more satisfying experience, because I didn't when I was having sex, we were going to do it in the dark and up under the covers. Right? So I didn't even like the appearance of myself. So for me to be able to express to you what I want, I did not know that because I did not know me. So me not knowing me, I couldn't have that kind of conversation with myself, with the person I was sleeping with, or with my children, right? And so by the time I did learn to have that conversation, which I can now, I don't think it's too late. Yet I think that my children would have had a better chance of benefiting from some things had I been all right with having that particular conversation with them. What y'all think?
Most definitely. I'm going through the same thing with my children. And although I talk about sex, I have the same kind of situation where I wasn't able to talk about sex or understand or have an audience to say, hey, what do you think about this? It was mostly from friends, from magazines, from real sex, HBO.
Take 17.
Right. And so being curious.
Out here in New York, we're asking people.
Right. Are you having sex? And I think for women, particularly in the Black community, there's a lot of guilt and shame, especially in the church. Okay. And so you're not supposed to know. Mm-hmm. But we all know that people are having sex. So we're just not going to talk about it. We're going to shame people for having sex. We're going to make them feel bad, but we're not going to say anything.
I hear you on that. I think more importantly, not having the conversation at all just leads to further destruction. Yeah. And when I say further destruction, it leads to things that children or adults who don't get a chance to get in on those conversations, it leaves them in the unknown. Yeah. So you have more unwanted pregnancies, right. You have more STDs, you have more emotional trauma to deal with, you have more people not liking themselves and then accepting men who ain't.
Ish.
Yeah, that part. And accepting what they think they deserve when they really don't, that they're more valuable than what they give themselves credit for. But because we're not having these conversations, sometimes conversations about sex or what we think is uncomfortable leads to better conversations to help people experience or not experience certain things.
So there's all this sex conversation, right? And I hear that.
Right.
And while I'm excited in some part of me, the other part of me thinks, so why are we conversating about sex before we conversate about your heart? Why are we conversating about sex before we conversate about what type of woman or God you are or not, or what type of woman you are in general, or what type of man you are in general? And do you have some goals and dreams and aspirations that line up where I want to go in life? Why talk about sex? And is it the proverbial putting the cart before the donkey or before the horse
No.
by putting sex on the table first. Let's discuss this without discuss, do you have the qualities and worthiness to be having sex with or the conversation? Because you can talk about finances and get that thought topic over about how you doing in saving, how you doing in planning. Are you a spendthrift? Do you spend to console yourself when you feeling bad?
Because I think there are people who are just having sex. It's easier to give your body away than to have a conversation about all of those things that you just said.
So now you've just cheapened the very thing that's there by giving the body away first
I mean-
without having a conversation about the thing that's more valuable, because people will lay down with you, screw you, before they tell you who they voted for in the next election.
So Robert Johnson says, yes, it's important. You must be able to have conversations about your boundaries, what you allow. You have to be able to feel comfortable to talk about sex in your relationship. That is very much true. I do agree with that.
Comfortable.
I definitely agree with
Have
that.
some value for sex, right?
Miss Deanna says, yes, it's healthy.
A
A part of intimate conversations. What if it's a non-intimate conversation about sex?
Oh, one of those factual, initial type thing. Yeah, I don't do that.
What was the
Yeah.
first? Go to the next.
Hold on. It says, if you're not talking about it, how are you doing it? Guessing, trial and error, just doing what
Yes,
you like?
ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
that's what
Yes, ma'am.
most
That's
I
exactly
mean,
what
Animal
you
Kingdom does it.
Winging it.
The Animal Kingdom does it. They don't have no discussion in class.
I mean, or you're learning from what you see on TV. You're having conversations with other people who are like-minded that don't know themselves. So yes, you are winging it, you guessing it, you doing trial and error, and then there are unnecessary mistakes that are being made because there is no talk about it.
And I really appreciate your vulnerability in saying the unnecessary mistakes.
Yeah.
Because they are. And not having that opportunity to explore, stop, think,
Yeah.
investigate,
Yeah.
but just keep going and making the same mistakes over and over again.
Some repeatable mistakes.
Yeah. Because people are taught to use sex as a
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
People,
in the
Yeah. So let's be more specific.
I mean, who's using it as a weapon, bro?
Let's talk about it.
So-
Right. So it
Really?
being used as a weapon is when we're
Jason.
taught as women
Mhm.
to do what you have to do.
ourselves?
Yes, do what you have to do to get what you
What you
need to
want.
get. Yeah, to get what you want. So yes, I do agree that it's used as a weapon. Or on the flip side,
On the flip,
it's used as a weapon when men tell women what you won't do, somebody else will.
Yeah.
That's used
Is
as
that
sex
a
as a
weapon?
weapon. Yeah.
I think that's just standing on business.
No.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I think that's just standing on business.
No.
Get out of
When you make a statement that's a fact, that's standing on business.
It's
Next.
I mean, what you got, Beyonce to the left, your stuff in the box on the left. Yeah, stand on business.
That is something that she said.
you can stand on business that may be fact, but it does not work. It's not going to
And
work.
it doesn't weaponize it. Like that's putting a person in a position where you gotta do this or I'm leaving.
Or you're trying to gain power and control to get what
There
you
it
want.
is.
I mean, yeah,
No.
yeah. If you don't do so and so, I'm not fixing your plate, or you're not gonna get something or whatever. Yeah, everything's all in negotiation. Everything.
I don't think everything is. It can be made to, but I don't think everything is.
See, we negotiating now.
We're not negotiating. We are agreeing
Ain't
to
this so
disagree.
similar in the conversation? Negotiation? Yeah, it seems quite similar. What's the next question, man? Next question. The game built on me, bro. The game built.
I was waiting on the opening, but they wouldn't let me in. They was
No.
blocking. They was blocking.
See,
No, go ahead. And look,
now they telling you go. Now they telling you go. See that?
we want to know.
See, power. See, they're telling you to go now. They tell you when to go.
Babe, you still talking? Let it go.
Oh, you want me to be quiet now?
I'm
See the power?
gonna go to the next because we're at 44 minutes in. The next one is needs, communication, or communicating versus assuming. And what we're talking about in this instance is communicating your needs while in a relationship versus assuming your partner's needs while in a relationship, which, let's be honest, we tend to do both, more assuming than not. Why is it that we do more assuming than communicating about our needs as well as what our partner needs is while in a relationship?
I think assuming can be a form of control and selfishness.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because when we assume, we tend to say and do what we think instead of taking into consideration what the other person may think or even asking to begin with. And so communicating, I think, involves transparency. To where you are giving information without being asked, so that someone won't assume, right? And you know, of course, what the old people say about assumption: when you assume, you make a out of yourself, right? And so, I think assumption also puts unnecessary expectations, not only on the person who you are assuming, but also on yourself. To even think that you are supposed to or have to assume something. Just ask the question. Just have the conversation.
I think people are scared to say what they want.
Why? Why do you think people are scared to say what they want?
Because if I tell you what I want in a relationship, you may either think I'm weird, you may not like me, and I can't risk losing you or letting you walk out the door. So I'm not going to tell you what I want.
So let me ask you
What
this.
if I say no to? What if you say no to what I want? Now I got to make a pimp decision. Do I stay or do I go?
But that's what it's supposed to be. So if you say because you may think this, you may think that. Do you think they think that, or do you think that about yourself?
Well, we hyper individualize our own perception of what they may think.
Right. Instead of
control, I'm not going to ask. Therefore, I don't have no. I'm just going to manipulate the situation, get what I want, because therefore they won't tell me no, and they got to worry about hearing no.
Yeah, that's also a form of control if they take that approach. But a lot of people, especially in today's generation, they don't want to say it because they don't want to come off as weird. They don't want to come off as undateable, or why you didn't tell me that at first.
But again, I think that those are still forms of what they think about themselves, because if the person who they have this expectation or they're assuming this with, if that person has never said that to them, why is the thought there?
Yeah, it's there. I mean,
because it's selfish, and they want what they want. Because today's generation, as you keep saying, they want to talk to you face to face. We want to talk over text.
Well, I think that goes along with really not knowing themselves either. So I'm going to assume and lead into whatever it is that you want to like. I'm not going to tell you what I like, because in reality, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. I don't even know.
Okay, assuming brings excuses. Communication brings change.
That's good.
Okay.
Also brings consequences.
That's good.
All right. Assuming leads to communication but misunderstanding. Okay.
You can. Yeah.
Okay. Honesty matters.
Fact.
It does.
Okay.
Assuming is thinking or a thought or a belief. It involves your input or validation from other person. Communication is an exchange between you and that other person.
So if you think about that definition right there, assuming is thinking, a thought, or a belief, it involves your input or validation, right?
Right.
So that to me focuses more on you than it does on the other person.
Right. Somebody said that ain't not standing on business.
That is not standing on business. Thank you, Miss Deanna.
No, that's manipulation, Miss Deanna.
Yep, you're right.
That's standing on business, what you saying right there, right?
First time.
She said manipulation.
Yeah, that was
I'm agreeing. Standing on business is manipulation.
nah.
That's what I'm saying. She Deanna said y'all reading it wrong.
True communication can be fearful depending on your partner's acceptance.
That's good.
That's what the part I was
That's
trying
good.
to get at.
That's good. Yeah.
The fearful of we have to talk about why I want to watch you in the shower and touch myself at the same time. That's something I like to do.
That sounds real uncomfortable when you just said that.
I'm just saying.
No. I'm not saying it's something wrong.
I'm just saying that.
I mean, but I might want to. But the point of the matter is, do you not want to be rejected? Don't you want to be accepted for that?
But you have to think within your own self where that comes from, where the thoughts about rejection come from. So when you said what you just said, it was uncomfortable to hear, but there was power in what you said, because that was a moment of, I'm not saying that you do it, but ability or power to even open up that type of conversation.
Yeah. It's got to be perceived as such, though, right?
I mean,
it's power.
I don't
the person saying it and then the person receiving it. Because if the person receives it, makes fun of you. I had this one person who dressed certain way, and then I made fun of that. I laughed.
Yeah.
They never dress that way no more.
Yeah.
Which it was just that particular dress, not all the dresses.
Right.
But because I laughed at the one, they stopped wearing all of them.
So that means that you have to have some trust, openness, vulnerability with that person, and like
Acceptance,
really,
right?
well, yeah.
You got to accept them to be able to say it.
Yeah.
Because
But who has to do the accepting? The person
The
giving
person
information,
receiving, the person receiving has to accept what the person that's sending the message says.
I don't think so. And let me tell you why I don't.
Tell me
Like
why
there are plenty of things that I tell you that you don't accept. Right? You tell me, you
But
hear
I
me,
accept
you
what you're
acknowledge
telling
it. You're acknowledging what I said, but you don't have to accept it. So I think when you look for acceptance sometimes and being vulnerable or telling somebody something, I think that can cut you off from being that way because you're expecting them to accept everything you say. And there's going to be some things that the other person do not accept, and it's okay for them not to.
I agree with that. Maybe accept was not the word. It is acknowledge. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What is it that you would like for me to do with that?
Yeah. So how can I do you want me to help?
But that's a thought process. These people nowadays, they want you to accept their pronouns, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't accept their pronouns, then that's a problem.
Well, yeah. Fair enough.
So either you show acceptance, and it's being forced on some people at their job setting, saying that, hey, you now will look and address these folks by their pronouns. Even in my job setting, hey, you need to address these folks by pronouns. And I'd be like, as soon as they address me by my pronoun, which is a pimp named Slickback, I would gladly accept and address them by their pronouns, you know. But then they said, I'm silly for saying that. And I said, well,
why is mine silly?
yes, why is mine irrational thinking silly, but theirs isn't? And so there's got to be a mutual halfway. And I hope that in relationships, healthy relationships, the accountability is there to meet halfway, right?
Well,
And that's what we're talking about.
Deco says accountability is going to extinct taking with it healthy relationships.
Ooh, wow. Thanks for chiming in, homie.
Therefore,
He's standing on business.
He's standing on business. He don't just play the bass.
He's standing on business right there.
He don't just play the bass. He tell the truth.
It is in a relationship. Like it has to. You can't have a healthy relationship without that accountability for each other.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean about. So thank you for sharing. What is it that you want with this information?
Yeah.
Communication goes a long way, especially when your partner is an overthinker. Gives them anxiety.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think you can quell anxiety with communication, though.
But you
You
can
can.
cause anxiety with
You
communication.
can. You can.
You can.
That remember we were talking about communicating and
Overload.
oversharing and
Mhm.
talking about like your feelings, your thoughts, what's going on, what you're feeling, where you are. That person that helps them feel closer to you in some way
Yeah.
and quells their anxiety.
I'm thinking that anxiety is going to be there regardless of what the communication
But
is.
isn't Deanna saying it gives an overthinker anxiety?
Yeah. It gives them anxiety.
So they're overthinker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
communication.
so giving them this
Goes
information.
along, especially when you're. I hate to
Part
say
of
that if they don't.
Yeah.
So if you communicate.
Chime in again,
that goes
Deanna. Help
a
us
long
explain,
way.
what you're trying to say. But that's good two ways about it. Deanna stand on this.
Slick back. Let's go. That's right. I told you.
That's right. We stand on business.
Please don't.
I mean, but I am known as a pimp named Slickback for
Please
those
don't.
who like pronouns. I am known.
Deanna continues with people keep the lines blurred and they don't communicate their needs as well.
What if you're a poor communicator? Can I still be in love?
Yeah.
Can I still
Yeah.
show some love?
What you in love
And I'm a
with?
poor communicator.
I mean, if they're a poor communicator, then why you love them? What are they communicating to you to make you love them?
Maybe they're physical acts.
Like what?
Well, you know.
Because they can give good head.
Well, yeah. That's love right there.
You ain't in love with them. You in love with what they do for
Thank
you.
you.
But it is them because somebody else ain't doing
Just
it.
because somebody else didn't do it does not mean you still in love with what they do. That part.
Oh, there you go, manipulation. I mean, that's a love language.
Somebody once said overthinking is literally conspiracy theories about your own self.
This dude is standing on business over there. Black men on business.
I'm not gonna give his government name, but that boy is on fire. He's talking that talk.
You the next gift.
He got
Black men on their business for sure.
That's good.
Serious.
That's good.
Everyone been ready.
Wow.
I think overthinking is related to emotional trauma. Hashtag overthinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can explain, as Jacob said, how one feels about themselves, right? Because you're constantly questioning yourself, or you're doubting yourself, or if you make a decision to go outside, and then you have all of these other things that might implicate that, and oh, well, what if this is not right, or my hair got to be this way, or this, and I think it sends you over into overmode, then you end up changing your mind about even going outside. So yes, I agree with that.
Right now.
I think some things that we have talked about, especially with this stand on business,
You taking my stand on business, but not a pimp named Slickback though.
That's good.
That's good. Let's sit with that. Give the Jacob praise. Look at that. I'm telling you. I am telling you.
Go back up.
Go ahead. Communicating expectations erodes the foundation of a relationship.
Uncommunicated.
Wow.
I think it automatically sets it up. You're right, Dion.
We can pull back from the edge, the brink of death.
It automatically, I agree, Dylan. I think it sets the relationship up for failure to begin with, because there's an expectation automatically that somebody is supposed to do something that you ain't never even communicated them to begin with. Well, he ought to know, or well, she ought to know. How if you've never told them?
What if they can't express what it is they think the other person ought to know?
The express something.
There's plenty of people out there. Sometimes myself get tongue tied. I can't communicate to it.
So then that goes back to you. And you learning.
You're gonna be a mute by yourself.
Right. Learning how to communicate effectively.
I told, hey, get out. Why? I told her I'm gonna push you down and keep it cool. Cause I ain't got, some folks ain't got time for the communication.
A lack of understanding brings on anxiety. Poor communication creates this environment.
Come on, Nikki, listen. So the lack of understanding brings on anxiety, and it's because sometimes I think when there's no understanding, it leaves a person's mind to wander all over the place, right? And that can bring anxiety.
We got frustration just because they don't understand what was communicated.
That happens a lot. I think the reception of what's being communicated is also misinterpreted way more than it needs to be. Because sometimes
I've been frustrated about, I told you already. And I'd be like, yeah, but I didn't understand. Yeah, I told you. I don't know what else you want me to do. Yeah, boom, there it is.
Yeah. Look, they still praising Jacob. That was a bar. I'm telling you, that boy cooking.
Bars.
Mixed. I definitely agree with you. Most overthinkers I know had trauma. So there's agreement that overthinking can be directly related to past or previous traumas. Okay.
Can you speak to that more, April?
Okay.
What?
About past trauma and overthinkers.
I mean, that's all. It's like a recorder that's playing in your head over and over and over again about certain instances that's happening or happened, and if they're going to happen again in your present or future.
Or not wanting to let somebody down, right? Okay. So if you have a parent that drilled things inside of you, and you held them to this certain standard, so you can be trying to fight to ensure that you are meeting their expectations, whether they're still here or not. Yeah. And that in itself, I think, can cause overthinking or anxiety.
Will that lead us to self-sabotage?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Anxiety is all in your head, then your body just follows suit with the racing heart, chest pains, and
panic attack.
I'm the king so far. I've had panic attacks, and they are feeling like your chest jumped out. I've called the ambulance a couple of times, and they came, and they looked at me with the goofy look face because nothing wrong with EKG and things like that. But
thank you for calling Coach Hughes for the 14th time.
Right.
Here's your card. We'll punch it. 15th time, you get one free.
We'll let you keep the stethoscope. But panic attacks is real. Panic attacks can come on to. I didn't know I was having panic attacks.
Right.
I didn't know that's what they were. Right. And so if you have panic attacks, definitely understand what they are and try to do your best to figure out where they come from.
Yeah.
Get some
Because
help.
get some help.
Mitigate
Get
this.
some help.
Mitigate
Get some
some
help.
help. What was our next question?
Wait, hold on.
I'm a huge overthinker, and it definitely causes self-sabotage.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's what you
Thank
asked.
you. That's what I said.
That's what you
Yeah,
asked.
I also think that it for me, I used to be an overthinker. The overthinking though for me, and sometimes I still do it.
For real?
The overthinking, yes. The overthinking for me just came from me not having confidence in myself.
There you go.
Right. And so when I learned to have the confidence in myself, I stopped second guessing. And it is not something that just happened overnight.
Mm.
The overthinking can also cause you to have other people to want to validate you or the
Yeah.
desire to agree with you a lot of times, right? And when you don't have that and you're used to it, sometimes that can cause you to overthink. So confidence in myself is what helped me not to overthink.
Saying that the two extremes, though, overthinking is the one extreme. I'm micromanaging overthinking, and then the other extreme, I'm throwing caution in the wind and not looking at all the signs and quote unquote red flags of this relationship. And that's me. I've been in relationships where I stuck my head in the ground and said, well, if I just wait it out, if I just give this, if I just do that, if I just keep going, if I just go beyond, oh, that was a bad problem. But if I just go beyond that and keep this going, it might change.
Yeah.
Because what? On the one hand, I was overthinking, and then on the other hand, I overcorrected and went to not thinking.
That's good. There was no in between.
So what you're saying is you could overthink in the process of still doing damage to yourself.
Yes, or you
By
can get to the
thinking
point
you're
where you just throw caution to the wind and be like, oh, they'll change just as long as they do with me.
Yeah.
They'll change. So long. If I give them this, then they'll change. If I give them that, they'll change.
right.
You know,
The
and so instead of staying on business with myself, this pimp went a slick back then.
and the manipulation in your life, you had help. Yes.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely helped.
That's big
This has
facts
been a
right
good
there.
conversation. Shout out to all people that's been tuning in. Shout out to the line. I know you just tuned in, North Carolina people.
Oh, look at
Jaco getting busy. Appreciate you cooking. Is overthinking sometimes that passed down through generations? That's a good question.
Learn
It
behavior.
is,
Learn
trauma
behavior.
is, and it can be.
Yeah,
So,
it
yeah,
can
Learn behavior.
it can be.
Speak to how much that affects you as a person, though. Like because overthinking is what, a learned trait? Can we agree that that's probably what it is?
I think it could be a number of things, as you have stated, with trauma. So I think that if you had a mom growing up in the house and you had a mom who you saw questioned a lot of things about you or about herself or about somebody, I think that could be a form of overthinking that may have been passed down to you. I also think, as I stated, me not having confidence in myself and questioning, our kids get a front row seat to a lot of things that we go through in life, even if we don't have that conversation in front of them. So,
Right.
you can be driving down the road and decide that you're going to go somewhere and you're going to do something. And then they can see you overthinking it as you are changing your mind because this, and that. So I do, Stella, I do think that overthinking can be something that's passed down through generations, but I think it takes an investigation of yourself first before you can know that. And so if you've already started investigating and searching you first and asking yourself these questions as you're trying to find and discover that I'm valuable, that I have, confidence, that I am this and that I am that, starting with those I ams, those
Right.
B's that's in the Bible, right? When you start to do those things, I think you will kind of find, oh, my grandma used to do that. Oh, that's why my mom did that. Oh, that's why. And this is not to blame. This is not to blame. This is just to see, go through the generation or go through the conversation within yourself where these things may have come from.
So I agree that it could be generational, but it's not generational like genetics.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not-
it's behavior.
but it's
Right.
observed behavior
Right.
that one makes a conscientious choice to do.
I don't know if they make a conscious decision to do
And
that.
I understand you saying you don't know.
I know, I said I don't think. I didn't say I don't
Okay. I understand you say you don't think,
Okay, because most of this stuff is unconscious stuff that people are doing.
but they're consciously overthinking.
No, you're not consciously overthinking.
So they're unconsciously overthinking?
Yeah, you're just doing the behaviors.
But the behavior is thinking in itself. The word is thinking.
But they don't know that they're overthinking in that aspect.
You
It's
don't think that people overthink don't know they're overthinking?
No, because
Not at the
sometimes
beginning.
no.
I think they learn later on that they're overthinking.
I mean, I think they're probably explored the fact that, hey, they're overthinking. It's the compulsory inability to stop, or maybe the choice not to stop that's there.
I mean, I think,
Not to stop.
Sure.
so you think people overthink and then they make they know that they're overthinking and then make a choice to continue to overthink?
I've overthought about a thing and knew that I was overthinking about it, but I couldn't stop myself. I've been sleepy and I couldn't turn my mind off so I could get some rest.
Was that a choice?
The choice that I couldn't turn my mind off?
Was that a choice to keep to do that?
No, but I was aware of it.
So was it unintentional or was it intentional?
So it was intentional, but I was aware of the intention. I'm overthinking still, even though I know I'm overthinking. I should choose to do this, but I'm a compulsory action to continue to do so.
Maybe it's because you were looking at it as a buffer that you needed as a form of protection, because overthinking is nothing but a form of protection.
Yes.
So,
But
I have to compulsively keep doing it, because if I don't do it, then I feel
Then
negative.
I'm not protected, but I'm making a choice that I'm not going to be unprotected.
Right.
So I'm going to continue
So
to do it.
I can agree with that, but I just don't think that's everybody's situation.
No, I'm not saying it's a general cross line or a matter of fact either.
Okay.
However, I'm saying it applies to a large percentage, and perhaps applies more so in the communities of color.
Yeah.
I don't believe it applies to a large amount of people. Most people would.
What do you consider a large amount of people, though?
I don't think when most people have that compulsion, they cannot control it. That's why it's called a compulsion.
Okay, but you're saying most people, so what do you consider a large amount?
So what would you? You said a large.
I said in this, I said I believe it does.
Yeah.
You say you don't believe it applies to a large amount.
Yeah, but you said
And I also
for
said-
me, over 50% is a large amount.
But we
I'm
don't, none
not
of us
saying
know what the
50%.
number is to begin with, right?
No.
Yeah, none
No,
of
no.
us know what the number is. It's just our thoughts and opinions
Yeah.
on what we may
Yeah.
experience
Yeah.
and seen. So we've not done statistics or research to know that whether it's a large or small. We just know, right?
Is it coming? I'm on this. We're coming on business.
Y'all can have that research. I'm gonna pass.
The best version of yourself first, and the health of your relationship second. Love yourself first,
Yeah.
so you can love your partner
Yeah.
to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
So you never
Agree.
more be cooking.
Oh, agree.
More be cooking. Okay. One person says anxiety can be genetic, also a learned behavior.
It can
That is
be.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yep.
That is true. Okay.
So do you think they'll be one day be able to take that out of the genetic code then?
I don't know about all that. I don't know. You ask me the challenging questions. I'm like,
Last question topic of the night.
What is it?
What is your end goal in a relationship? Do you have one? Are you supposed to have one? Are you supposed to just go through and stay in one stage of your relationship, one level of your relationship? Or are you supposed to have an end goal? Is it wrong to have an end goal? A lot of people have exit strategies, right? They know what they want to get out of, right? In case this don't work out, I got an exit plan.
right. I'm
Hence
coming
the bring
in
up.
to go out.
I'm coming in to go out, right? But what's the end goal for a relationship? Should you have an end goal in a relationship? And if so, what is that? Is it okay to stay stagnant? Is it okay to stay at this level because it's comfortable, it's simple, it's easy, and it works for you?
So no one will ever be this young again.
Yeah.
Once the moment is gone, the moment is gone. My opinions of today weren't that of 5 years ago, 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, so it's ever evolving.
Right.
And I think the end goal I had at the beginning of the relationship is not the end goal when it comes to the end.
Right. Right.
So I mean, let's while people are thinking about this question and responding, let's think about our own, our personal, time. What are you thinking at? Go ahead and share.
I was like, when Javon and I met, was it like I have an end goal? And when we met, I did not.
You did not have an end goal at all when you met him?
Because when I met him, or when we met, I was like, I want to do something different. Because, raise my hand, it was, this person could be my other person.
Yeah.
This could be it.
Don't we do that as women? I think we kind of do that a lot. We go in initially thinking
Like,
that, yeah.
this might be it.
Okay.
And so this time I was like, I want to date. I want to have fun. I
Mhm.
want to get to know. I
Mhm.
want to experience. And so when we got together, don't talk about really.
I'm over here.
And you're gonna talk about your own experience,
I'm
right?
over here.
Don't comment on that
We
experience.
met.
Stop trying to manipulate me.
No. You're trying to get ahead of yeah.
That was later. I'm saying when we met.
Right,
We
right.
met. I did not have a plan, and I don't think he did either.
No.
We
Yeah, I
were
was
just
gonna ask about you.
enjoying
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
being in each other's company, and I think for me it just flowed so much easier when there
Yeah.
wasn't this looming pressure like he's got to be my man. He gonna
Yeah.
be my man. I know he's gonna be my man. It was
Yeah.
just like I'm having a good time.
What about you, Damone?
I know I didn't have an end goal because an end goal at the beginning makes you act a certain way to reach said end goal.
Wow.
So
Brother-in-law.
I said, but this is what we do, because sometimes having an end goal can actually be a form of self-sabotage sometimes,
Good.
right?
That's good.
Because we painted this end goal of where we want to go, but we didn't include the variable of another person's personality that may or may not match our end goal.
I mean, but having an end goal
Yeah.
is a selfish thing, right?
It is.
Having a dual group goal
Yeah,
would be a more inclusive thing. When I sit down to play you checkers,
right,
my end goal is to win.
right,
So I'm going to manipulate the board to win.
right.
I ain't concerned about your plays. I'm going to adapt to your plays and overcome your plays so I can get to my end goal to win.
Right.
So that's adversarial.
Right.
And if you want a partnership, which is the first half of a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Then that's both of y'all working to the same goal
Yeah.
versus being adversarial playing the game against a person. In my relationship, I didn't have an end goal. Still don't have an end goal.
Yeah.
I have an end goal for my own life.
Yeah.
Is to grow old and hopefully transition on to heaven
Right.
because I don't want to die. That's my end goal.
Right.
Now, my goals in my relationship, I want to achieve and maintain what I have when I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to put a ring on.
Right.
But what I want to maintain is that element right there where we were, keep it in the pocket, so to speak. How we were right then when I decided this is one I can put a ring on.
Right. Okay.
That's what I want. But I have no end goal on the end. My prayer, just again, circle back to the Menage Tribe, my prayer is my God will lead me through teaching me how to love her
Yeah.
and love myself first to reach whatever the end goal he has set or a possibility greater than I can imagine for us.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I'm focusing on the journey day by day and not at the end.
Yeah. I think that's how we played it. When we first met, she used to say this thing, it rings true. She's like 1 minute, 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. And I took that to be like, okay, this is how we're going to approach this said relationship. Every day is its own day, and we're going to deal with whatever it is in that day, good or bad. And then the next day will be a day anew. And I think that, again, me coming into this saying that I didn't have an end goal and having that communication at the beginning by saying, do you have an end goal? You know, what's your agenda?
Yeah.
We had that communication, the tough conversations. And so once we both understood how we wanted to play this thing out, I think it worked out a lot better. Of course, at the end of the day, we got married.
Yeah.
So, but listen, now look, you had the conversation prior to. Would you say the conversation in your quote unquote end goal from that time is the same as the end goal currently today?
No.
So it evolved and changed, didn't it?
Because we evolved and changed.
Facts.
Right.
So having an end goal, I mean, you could have a direction where you want to go,
Right. Yeah.
but knowing where the stopping point is, I don't think you should set because now you're limited in yourself.
Yeah.
Because you play the move just to there. I want to make it 56,
Yeah.
and everything you're doing gets to 56.
Yeah.
You lasted longer than 56. Now you lost.
Yeah.
I don't know that I had an end goal per se. Definitely, I didn't have an end goal for us,
Right.
right? I did, but it was more as friends than it was relationship.
Right.
Okay.
And so at the time I wasn't focusing on the difference, but the end goal for me, if I had to choose one, was just that we would remain friends no matter what, which is what he ultimately wanted. The most important thing, it was more individualized for me, which was that I never changed for anybody else, that I always remain me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I would not allow another person or thing to change or alter who I am, but that I would evolve. And so as I wanted that for myself, I wanted that for him.
Right.
I needed both of us to be the best version of ourselves.
Yes.
And to help do that, that's the end goal I want, because we know relationships, when you get into it, they can separate you or drive this wedge in between you that causes hurt and trauma.
Yeah.
It can be self-inflicted, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the end goal was to just continue to be me, because I found me.
Yeah.
And when I found that, I refused to go back to being anything else less than what I was, right? And I want that for every person that I'm in relationship or friendship with. So it wasn't more for us. If we didn't stand or if we didn't make it relationally, I didn't want the friendship to end. However, I wanted what was best for me.
Got it. And I think that's so important, like really finding you.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Like once you know you in the relationship, you want to make sure that you're okay in tandem with this person.
Yeah.
Not sacrificing yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Jacob says, take it day by day. If you're focused on crossing the finish line, you're going to miss all the moments.
That's good. That's what both
Dude,
So he's standing on business.
That's what both yeah, we can agree with you now.
Now you want to agree?
Yeah, we can agree with
That's
you.
all right. That's all right.
But you just said some of the same stuff.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Well, you said on business.
Effort from both sides, working to pursue the agreed upon outcome that you both have established. That's so fast.
But what if the agreed upon, Delon, the agreed upon outcomes though, the person could change that might make the agreed upon outcomes take a little longer or impossible to do, right? So, and I'm just using for an example. Y'all decide that y'all gonna run the Boston Marathon and y'all train all these years to do it, and somebody slip and fall down the steps and break their ankle.
Yeah.
And they can't recover from it. So what if something happens? You got to make room and space for that, to be understanding about that.
Yeah.
I would have been like, they didn't say anything about wheelchairs, bitch.
Oh, no.
Yes.
My end goal is to still love, respect, and enjoy at the end as we did in the beginning. Still best friends.
Yes, Marcella.
I like that.
Yeah.
Somebody says equally yoked is the end goal. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Give me a little bit more, Nikki. How equally yoked? What does that mean for you? Because it means different for a lot of people.
What's the
Yeah.
As I started to say, the end goal is it continuously see and support each other through individual evolution. Yeah. I definitely can see that. But what if the evolution causes you guys to evolve separately?
And drift apart.
Well, you do evolve separately. You don't evolve together.
You should. I think you should evolve individually, right? Because I think your relationship is only as good as you are, right?
Yeah.
So I think you should evolve.
I mean, if I grow chest hair, I don't need you growing chest hair.
It can if both people are. They should.
I grew chest hair. You didn't grow chest hair?
Y'all need some help. Y'all both need some help.
Nikki says self-love created by doing all aspects of your life.
That's good.
That's definitely true. But we have fun while we're at it.
That's facts.
I get that. I definitely get that. If there's no end goal, how do you know if it's progressing in the same direction? How do you know when it is time to exit stage left or continue? Solid question.
Okay.
Solid question.
So when I'm talking about an end goal, so once we became official,
Yeah.
there was a difference. I'm talking about in the beginning of the relationship,
Right.
when we got to know each other.
Right.
There was no end goal. There was, we get to know each other, we have fun, when we first met,
Yeah.
that was what it was.
thought there was a goal.
No, we became something when we became official. And to be honest, there was no pressure to become official.
There was no pressure. Yeah, there was no pressure.
It just happened when we became
Wasn't it
official.
magical?
When you say official, you talking about marriage?
No, when we said we're
Status
only
dating.
dating each other exclusively.
Exclusive dating.
We're exclusive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then there were expectations. Then it was, okay, what are we really doing? Are we
Okay.
really doing this?
Okay. Okay.
So
And
then
it was pressure for me. It was pressure for me in regards to the marriage thing because, as you know, Lamont has shared, he was not interested in being married, right?
Mhm.
But for me, because
We need health insurance.
because for me and my spiritual standards and what I needed, it was pressure because I was going as far as being willing to make this decision that if we were going to continue to be in this space, we were either going to talk about an end goal,
Yeah.
and that end goal could have been marriage, or we just continue to be friends,
ending
right?
the relationship.
Yeah, ending the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, no, not ended. I mean, we still would have been friends.
We would have been friends without benefit.
I heard your dryer's messed up.
I know.
Can you send somebody over to fix it, please?
Your cable is up. Fine.
No, I got my own money. No, sir. I got my own money. I don't need that.
Tearaway pants.
Stay over there.
Right.
You see my new,
Right.
you see my new Timberlands? You see my new Timberlands?
No, I'm good. I can see them from afar.
Are you wearing a thong? Once we got into a relationship, understanding what we were doing, deciding how we were blending our families together, if we were blending our families
Yeah,
together,
right.
and if we were headed towards a more serious title
Right.
than dating exclusively.
Right,
So
right.
that was the end goal for that. And then when we're married, just experiencing life
Yeah.
together, loving
Yeah.
and growing and evolving and
You
stretching.
got comment
Yeah.
from Makiva says.
So, Mick said, continued growth, understanding, patience, and love. We become new people every 10 years. Is it every 10 years?
I think it's less than that.
Okay.
But
Very true to the earlier statement. He said,
Right.
but you got to come back to the table and recalculate.
Yeah, that's good, Delon. I agree with that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
what is it, Delon, that every year,
Yeah.
state of the relationship?
We do it every month.
We do have one every month. But you should, if you don't do it at any other time, you should do a
Every
state
year.
of the relationship every year.
And there should be a notice of when a shift is taking place and when something different has happened that
Right.
the two of you didn't expect it. If you remember those pictures, there's a picture of a person on a bike that's traveling on the string or biking across the way, and it's just a straight line, what you think to what it actually is.
Yeah.
It has all the dips and holes and stuff like that, right? And so I think at any point, whether it's a year, 6 months, every week, every month, there needs to be a conversation until, there is an understanding of what's supposed to
And
take
we
place.
could say, when I move, you move.
Just like that.
Yeah. Stella says, leave enough space to forgive and grow in love from mistakes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
solid.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, my boy Frazen. What's up, Frazen? Shout out to the boy Frazen. That's the cook I was telling you about. We're actually going to have him on the show doing some cooking in the near future. But Frazen says, the queen in the blue dress hit it on the head.
Thank you.
Once you love you and be the best self, and your partner does the same, going on your respective journeys while still being able to fulfill each other.
Yeah,
Solid.
that's good.
Solid.
Because just think about this phrase, and as you said, and I agree. Thank you for the compliment. As you learn as you grow, you might decide that who you with ain't it. It ain't it. So that's why you really need to give yourself some time to learn you, because sometimes you can end up in relationships, friendships, jobs. You can even be wearing clothes and shoes you're not going to even wear anymore when you get to learn you. And those are all the things that I experienced. There were clothes, there were hairstyles. Ain't no way in the world years ago I would have cut all my hair off, because I wouldn't have thought that was something that I look good in, right? And so you got to learn you, so much so that when my husband and I got together, that was one thing he couldn't talk about prior to in our friendship. Like, you don't talk about my hair. No, because, it's a culture or traditional thing sometimes, right, in regards to women having long hair, right? But it doesn't make me, I can see a time in my life where I would have changed my hairstyle because he didn't like it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to know you, learn you, love you, and like you. I still love you, baby.
No, I totally get that.
Not as much as you love yourself.
Now,
Yeah. Nikki says morals, respect, understanding, joke, continue love, and support, etc., etc. That is true. That is very true. Jacob says, Ingo, raise your kids together, even if you're still not together as a couple. Your children are the next inheritance of the world you leave behind, and they'll need to be prepared for it. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Man, they gotta want to be prepared.
That is true.
yeah.
Yeah. To be free, to be you, while learning what that looks like, basically, what it looks like and feels like, while becoming the best version of yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. You got to learn who you are. And so I always talk about the blueprint, building yourself up, learning yourself, creating your own blueprint for yourself. So when you're ready to love somebody else and you want them to love you the correct way or how you want to be loved, all you have to do is hand them your blueprint, which is you're showing them, this is how I love me, this is how I love myself.
But no folks are this most tried and true thing in the hood. Anybody got time for all that?
Okay, they should. And they should be able to hand you back a blueprint like,
A blueprint?
here's mine.
I ain't about to tell you all my secrets.
Yeah.
That's that communication thing.
Right.
That's the
It
problem.
ain't included in the hood.
That's what
I ain't hear nothing about communicating in nobody's song.
that's the problem.
I can't rap to the word communication. It don't rhyme with nothing.
That's it.
Yep, that's the
That's
problem.
it.
Oh, yeah.
The girl when I handed her a drink at the bar, I said, "Hey, you want to communicate with me tonight?" She didn't go, "Yeah, nigga, let's communicate."
Were you handing her a drink to actually communicate or do something?
What was your intention?
My intention, she was at the bar in the getting girl dress with the heels on.
So it sounded like it was manipulation. Got it.
But she wasn't manipulated with the getting girl dress and the heels on.
Nah, she was just putting on what she was putting on.
This has been
She
fun.
showed up for the drinks for free.
It's all about
This has been
perception.
fun. The users.
They came and showed out.
Yeah.
They came and showed out. Y'all definitely give them a round of applause.
Look,
Definitely give them a round of applause.
continue the conversation down in the comments below. I'm serious. This is what's up.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us. This is what, maybe if we get enough comments and likes and shares and subscribes down in there, maybe we can do an annual thing.
Yeah, we want the thing. You want the Houston from Dallas to come back. Definitely put it in the comments. Let them know. We want them back in
Dallas. Dallas and not Slandy. If you know Dallas and not Slandy, comment down in the comments.
Shout out to all my people at Media Stores, praising. We look to see you soon. Shout out Jaco. Shout out my boy up in North Carolina, Delon, doing big things. Don't worry, homie. I'm gonna send you that box soon.
Thank you for all the people standing on business in the comments.
Jaco,
I'm trying to get them to say it for no reason.
Shout out to my homie Big Stern. Shout out to Robin, Miss Deanna, everybody. Y'all did y'all thing. Y'all want to give some
Thanks, Jackie.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you, Marcella. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you
Yeah, thank you, Marcella. Thank you, Nikki.
Sylvia.
Thank you, Robin, Miss Deanna. Thank everybody.
Thank you, of course.
Thanks, sis. Thanks, Samoa.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nikki.
And thank you to all my friends that are watching that are not talking in the comments, but talking in your head and hitting me
Yeah,
on
and some of the
I'm gonna respond to your text messages.
Yeah,
I'm
some of
getting-
the text messages that I
I'll get
got.
to
Thanks
you.
to my
I'll get
friends.
to
Thanks to Robin. Thanks to those of you who.
Thanks to Phoenix Limousine in Jackson, Mississippi, who does all my limo work when I'm there in Jackson, Mississippi, and outside.
Yeah.
Thank you to them also.
Yeah.
Quincy Scott and the gang over there, they do great things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you guys for coming.
Appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, like, subscribe, and share.
Yes.
And if you like it, subscribe and comment enough that how I'm standing on business, maybe I'll do a podcast.
Yes. So listen, there are some people who have some names on here that I am not familiar with. So let me just thank the ones who I know are participating, which is some of my friends, Aisha Petty, thank you.
Jacktown.
Miss Deanna, who is actually Miss Teresa, another friend of mine. Thank y'all so much for partaking.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Definitely shout out to our home state and city, Jackson, Mississippi. Let me put that up right there.
Jackson,
Mississippi, aka Jacktown. We are from there. 3 of us at the table. we lived there, not from there, grew up there. Had good
still
time.
got a home there.
Still got homes there. So shout out to the whole entire Jackson, Mississippi stand up. Shout out to Dallas and Houston. Everybody's been showing us love. North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida.
Share with your friends, like and subscribe, continue to comment. Go back and watch my prior show because we brought the heat Friday night.
Brought the heat Friday night.
The ladies classed this one up.
Yeah.
They did. They classed it up real nice. We were down, dirty, and vulgar on Friday night. Go back and watch the Friday night show.
Definitely watch the Friday night shows. And definitely come back and see us again
Next week.
Yep, April, we need to have a ladies' night.
So Tuesday nights, Tuesday.
Talk about it.
Going.
Talk
So
about it.
Finding Queendom on Tuesday nights. If you are interested in finding Queendom, Jamon usually talks about it. He tries to sneak in to listen. It is all
Closed group.
female.
Closed
It's
group.
a closed group. If you would like to participate, please go to the cityandluxgroup.com, click on Finding Queendom, and send me a message, and I will email you the link to join on Tuesday night. So yes, we are doing a series right now on mothers, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The Wicked Witch of the
And
West.
impact on us as women.
Toxic women. I'm sorry.
See, that's why you don't.
Wow.
Women who standing on business. Though.
Yeah, they standing on business. They standing on business. That
So
group.
yes,
You
we
can check
would
it out.
love for you ladies to join us, please. So check us out.
Definitely check them out. Definitely visit the obsidianluxgroup.com for more information on health services that my wife and I offers, which is life coaching and therapy, couples counseling, and individual counseling as well. Be on the lookout for these two because they're going to be doing big things in the future. We're going to bring you some updates on them.
Yeah, I just need to know if y'all want to see me again. You know, if you want to see me stand on business.
Oh, somebody needs some validation.
Please, can somebody, before we get off, just comment hashtag standing on business.
I mean,
please.
Don't forget to put a
Just
Kim
type
name slip back.
No.
No.
I'm not ready to get them.
Yeah, we already did this.
If you like pronouns and whatnot.
No, somebody just type it. Hashtag stand on business to validate PQ's
Hey, Hughes family power. That's what I'm saying right here. The power of Hughes family.
1, 2, 3. See.
Hughes. Oh,
Wait,
yes,
yep,
you
yep.
slow down. Appreciate it. Business. There you go. Business. You gotta be scared. No, my business is fluid.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Keep
much.
getting likes and subscribe. I'm gonna stand on business on the podcast.
Thank you,
Keep
guys.
on. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Thanks for having us.